Welcome to the Filmcast review of Black Bag. I'm going to read the plot summary from the internet. When his beloved wife, Catherine, is suspected of betraying the nation, intelligence agent George Woodhouse faces the ultimate test: loyalty to his marriage or his country. End quote. Devindra Hardwar, we are truly living in an age of riches.
Amazing.
Two Steven Soderbergh, David Koepp collaborations out in theaters in 1 year. Pinch me.
Within 1 month, kind of, right? Very close together.
Very close together. That being said, Devindra Hardwar, I'm curious, you were a fan of Presence. I liked it as well. This is a very different film than that.
Uh-huh.
What did you think of Black Bag overall?
So I knew I was in the bag for Black Bag the instant two giant words appeared on the screen in beautiful fonts. London, Sunday. They got the fonts right, guys. A movie that understands you introduce things with good, huge fonts. I think I'm right there for it.
Wow.
I feel
you,
like
you have low standards.
A typography
good
review from Devindra
font.
Hardwar.
Yeah.
Soderbergh knows how to do the big fonts. Anyway, I feel like I love this movie. To me, it is very much like a Ocean's 12 kind of thing, kind of a romp, kind of a really fun exploration of this genre. It is not nearly as like a jazzy, freewheeling, I don't know, the fun fest as the Ocean's 12 was. But I love this movie because it is just like a great solid spy mystery. Everything feels like it is just on like at a very high caliber here. Like I love Fassbender here. He is very different than he was in The Killer. He's kind of doing a bit of a George Smiley thing from Tinker Tailor, and his character's a little inscrutable. But what he is the ultimate wife guy. And this movie presupposes, what if a wife guy was also a spy guy movie?
Yes.
That's basically what this is. And I kind of love that because he is very good at his job, but also loves his wife. I mean, look at his wife. And also, I love their relationship, too, and the way they kind of both can't trust each other, but also have a thing, like have a connection. There are things about this movie that I think are like deeply messed up, but also like weirdly romantic. Where he is like, I will do anything for you. I will kill for you. It's what every lady wants to hear. Just literally anything. He will drop anything just for you. This movie, like, I think the overall like plot is one of those like overly complicated things where you don't really have to understand what's happening. But what you do understand is the character dynamics. There is a mole. They invite everybody over for dinner to find the mole. And that is also, I think, one of the best like awkward dinner scenes I can remember in a film, which this shouldn't even be in a spy movie. This feels like something else entirely, but it's here at the beginning of a spy movie, and it's so good. I love all the actors here. I did not expect seeing Marissa Bella from what's the HBO
Industry.
show? Industry. She's incredible. Reggae John Page is fantastic here too. Like I love all the supporting cast, but it's Fassbender being a smart guy trying to like figure out this mystery, and you got like touches of Pierce Brosnan in there too. Like it's just so good. It is a stylish, fun thriller that leans on the style a little bit, but I just loved it. Like I kind of love everything about this movie. I had a huge smile on my face. I was the only one in the theater when I went to see this, but it felt like it was all for me because I just ate this up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very troubling statement you just made. Because during the post-COVID era, right, there was this theory out there that like, oh, the reason why the movies aren't doing well is because there's not enough inventory. Like, there's not enough stuff out in the theaters. And once we get like stuff into the theaters, like people will start coming again. And this movie, we had two new movies out in theaters that were both very well reviewed. I think if this movie came out 20 years ago, it would have had a box office run about $100 million. Like this is a movie that I think is the kind of movie that people would have turned out in theaters for. They don't do that anymore.
I would say, like, I don't know, like the timing is also bad too, because this was a bad weather month for the US, or bad weather week. I wonder how much that affected it, because like there were tornadoes, guys. tornadoes all over the South. Like I couldn't leave my house for like a part of the weekend, basically, because I was worried about things. So I don't know.
Yeah, it goes beyond tornadoes.
I'm sure.
Things are in a very dire state, I would say.
Mhm.
And the fact that Novocaine and Black Bag both made under $10 million this weekend,
Oh, really?
is a
I didn't
really
realize
bad
it was
sign.
that low.
Yeah, it's a really bad sign. So that said, we can still talk about and enjoy the movies here on the podcast. Jeff Kanata, as long as they're making them. Jeff Kanata, what did you think of Black Bag?
Well, Dave, I guess you could say what I thought of Black Bag is best summed up in the form of a limerick.
Let's hear it, Jeff.
The plot is delightfully twisty, with a theme that got me quite misty. A strong marriage is why it looks like a spy, but it's really just Agatha Christie.
Ooh, yes.
Nicely done, Jeff.
Yes.
Nicely done.
Thank you. This is a parlor mystery disguised as a spy movie.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I absolutely loved it. It's just talking heads. I love that. This movie could have been a play. I love that. People say this meeting could have been an email as a derogatory. I say this movie could have been a play as a plus. I love that about it. My wife is well aware of my absolute crush on Cate Blanchett. She's my number one Hollywood crush.
Mhm.
I've never seen Cate Blanchett as a long-haired brunette before, and
She's very regal in this movie.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. But the thing that is so wonderful about this movie, above the whip smart dialogue, above the cool, machinations of how we're going to figure it out, above the great parlor mystery scenes of we've gathered all the suspects here and we shall find out who it was. Fassbender basically doing an Agatha, like doing a Poirot or a Sherlock Holmes character, like this kind of affected genius who's going to get to the bottom of it. Above all of that, what I love most about this movie is it's got something that you never, ever see in films. A great marriage. It's got a strong, resilient marriage. Yes, they do some effed up stuff for their professions, but it rarely is good drama to represent a strong, unimpeachable marriage on screen. And yet we find that very thing at the center of this story is two people who just really like being married to each other. And that's awesome. Like I just love that.
Sure, one of them might have betrayed the country, but yes,
love will prevail.
Love will prevail potentially, maybe, depending on how things play out.
You heighten it, right? That's what drama is, but it almost never is the case that the strength of a connection between two people is the linchpin around which, oftentimes it'll be, it'll fall apart and then we'll find it at there's a million templates for the thing, but the unassailable,
it's fascinating it's fascinating that's your takeaway from it. But yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think the performances are great. I think the chemistry between the two of them is great, even though they're both kind of playing very heightened, abstractions of characters. This is not a movie about people that you recognize as being human. These are all it's a room full of James Bonds, right? Mm-hmm. And it's cool that Pierce Brosnan is there as this is what James Bond graduates into as he ages out of the Bonding, right? He's he becomes the grizzled guy pulling the strings behind it's just perfect casting to have Pierce Brosnan there. But man, what a great fun movie. As much as I disliked Presence, this movie is guess Kep and Soderbergh can
you just
hit a home
had
run.
To remind me, Jeff, about your thoughts on Presence.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that because if you didn't like this movie also, then I'd be like, I think you might just not like Steven Soderbergh, Jeff. But
Have
yeah,
somebody check on Jeff. Does he like movies anymore? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's like it would be difficult to know that these are two movies made by the same
Yes.
team.
I agree.
think,
They're
right?
very
Yeah.
different movies.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's wild that they, like you guys are pointing out, they come out so close to one another. I know somebody was saying that they went to see Presence and saw an ad for Black Bag before
Yeah.
it, which is kind of a wild thing that they're literally the same collaborators have, can do that. But I thought Presence was hot garbage, and this couldn't be farther at the other end of the spectrum for me. Like I agree, this is a early front runner for my top of the year list for 2025.
If you're watching the YouTube version of this on youtube.com/@thefilmcastpod, every week on the podcast, I introduce a joke during our weekly plug segment and then pay it off during the review.
Or sometimes you forget.
Well, I'm about to pay it off right now, Jeff Kanata. That's how I remember. Seeding it into the actual deep. We're deep into the main review now.
Yeah.
Here is the answer to the question I asked earlier in the podcast. The KGB.
KGB.
The KGB.
Okay.
The KGB. Really like that one. That one's a thinker.
Can't wait for your Steven Soderbergh collab, Dave.
It's a thing you got to pause and consider that.
It's a thinker in that it's been an hour and a half since you did the setup. That's the thinking part.
All right, my thoughts on Black Bag. This movie is excellent. As you guys have already said, you're watching incredibly sexy people do sexy spy things. So on a basic level, it's enjoyable in that regard. But what I really appreciated about this movie, Black Bag, is that it's basically kind of made up of a string of like set pieces, but the set pieces are people talking. Like there's very little action in the movie, but like there's different setups, right? Like there's different, like, oh, here's a scene where like there's a very interesting it's not just it's like people talking, but it's like them talking in a way where there's like really high stakes.
It's dialogue as violence.
Dialogue as violence is like, and every setup is slightly different.
Yeah.
And it's like different configurations of different characters, right? Like, and I think the casting is excellent, right? Like every character is so like vivid in your mind, but then in addition, it introduces different permutations of these characters. Like, what if we mix these two characters together? And what if we mix these two characters together? And like, it has these great ingredients. It's just mixing and matching them in a way that's really pleasurable for the audience. So I really enjoyed the ingenuity of it, and yeah, I thought the ending as well was very satisfying. We'll get to it shortly. But other thing I guess I should comment on before we get to spoilers is like stylistically, I think it's quite interesting. Steven Soderbergh's Presence was done in a series of long continuous shots, and is told from the perspective of the ghost, and so it's like. Maybe there's like, I don't know, 10, 15 shots in that whole movie or whatever, right? It's very interesting. That movie and this movie, I feel like both used ultra naturalistic lighting.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. Like all the light feels like it comes from natural sources. And that does give the film a more realistic feel. It feels like, oh, we're in actual real physical places. Like we're not on a movie set. We're like we're at this person's house. We're at this office and so on.
The opening scene is just like walking behind Fassbender's character for like 2 minutes.
Incredible.
And like he's in focus, but it's also shallow focus for the rest too. So it's like you're not seeing anything except Michael Fassbender's back, really, but it still feels really immersive. As you're going
I watched this
nightclub.
movie in Dolby, and the
sounds incredible.
The audio when he goes into a nightclub is just like really incredible. And so just on a technical level, Soderbergh is still operating at the top of his game, and I really, really love this movie. It was a blast. I had such a good time watching it. Early contender for one of my favorite films of 2025. Basically.
Absolutely.
So
speaking of the way it was shot, by the way, like I feel like he was definitely like having some fun with the construction of how he shoots some of the dialogue scenes too. Like there's a lot of wide camera angles here, wide lenses, but also sometimes it's just like two people speaking and the camera moves, like the reverse shot is just like both of them at really wide angles, like sitting next to one person, sitting next to the other person, not like over the shoulder. And I don't know if that was necessarily effective. It was cool because you get to see more of this set over and over again. But I was just thinking about like why did he choose to do it this way? I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I think so. Like, for instance, there's scenes where I think I know what you're talking about, Devindra. Like, for instance,
like the therapist's office.
The therapist's office, right? Like, those are very wide shot, reverse shot. I think it's just to place people in the environment. It's just to show you, like, like these are characters that are severely constrained,
right,
by their job, but also not even constrained. Constraint's the wrong word. Like, severely defined by their job, right? Like, it's their kind of primary identity is they are spies or people who lie or people who infiltrate other things, and I think like showing a lot of the office, the actual spy office, in wide shots helps to kind of emphasize that. That's just my initial take on it. So anyway, all right. Those are some initial thoughts on Black Bag. Let's get to spoilers for the movie starting right now. All right. So I want to say, Devindra, you were talking about when you were in the bag for Black Bag was when the fonts came on screen.
Immediately.
I want to say for me, it was 5 minutes into the movie and this was in the trailer, but, and I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but this guy basically hands him a list of names and he says, here, one of these people is the traitor. And Michael Fassbender says, give me 2 weeks. And he says, if Severus is deployed, thousands of innocent people will die. And he says,
that's all you need.
He says, give me 1 week. Which I thought was amazing. And just kind of like sums up who that character is and his whole demeanor and that whole stuff. The dinner scene was incredible. The opening dinner scene was incredible. And
so good.
I guess the idea is he laced all their food with like truth-telling serum. And but what was amazing too was the shock of when they show up at work, the guy has the bandage on his hand the next day. I'm like, holy, like these are people you see like on a daily basis. Like I thought it was like, they're coworkers. I didn't, but like I have coworkers who like my company has literally 1 million employees. So like, I can have a coworker who I don't see every day. Like I see them once every month, or these are people he sees every day. And like
you invite people over close to your team. Like it felt so prosaic in a way. Like, oh yeah, we're office buddies. We're all couples. We're all couples being spies. Let's talk about that. That's weird. But what's that like?
They have that's wonderful setup scene where the four are like, we got invited to their house. This is kind of weird. Like they make it into a thing. So I don't think
it's a great pregame scene of just like, okay, let's steel ourselves for this. I don't know what's happening. Praise his cooking. It's great cooking. Apparently, like he's very methodical, very controlled there.
I gotta say, Tom Burke. It has been wild to watch his evolution as an actor because I think I first saw him in a movie called The Souvenir. Where he's amazing in it, but he plays a completely different character in that movie than he does in Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yeah, you're right.
And then now he goes from Furiosa to this movie where he's kind of this like playboy kind of older gentleman kind of dude, and it's just amazing. Like it's rare that
what a transformation.
I cannot see Tom Burke in a movie and not think it's Orson Welles.
Yes.
Like that was the first time I saw him, I think, was when he played Orson Welles, and now I can't not see that.
So as the movie goes on, more of the details of what is happening are uncovered. I guess I am curious, like, if you guys at any point thought that Cate Blanchett was actually guilty, like
she's very suspicious early on. But so is everybody.
Yeah. Like all the evidence seemed to be pointing to her, right? With the Zurich travel, and then the information about the accounts, and then it's like, oh,
the
like
movie.
Maybe
I think the movie ticket was something. Was like, she's not that sloppy.
Yeah,
she's not that sloppy.
Right.
Too sloppy.
But they take great pains to establish that she cares about money, and then there's like $7 million. It feels like but the scene. Incredible scene where he goes in and forces Marissa Abella to move the satellite for 3 minutes.
Incredible scene.
And
which one? Because they're all incredible. The one where he talks to her about doing it, or the one where they actually do it?
Oh yeah, they're
both good.
They're both good. Yeah.
Well, my favorite when he talks to her about it. My favorite part is when she says, "Look, I'm not even saying no, but are you really doing this?
Yeah. Well, she's like, I think she feels like he's coming on to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not saying no.
I'm not even
It's
saying
so
no,
good.
but is this really what you're doing? You know?
It's so great.
It's so self-aware, so good. And then like he like throws it at her. It's like, well, multiple sex partners and drug use, yada yada yada. And then at the end, she's like, I would have done it for you anyway. You didn't have to go that hard. He just kind of shrugs, like,
I was like,
he's like, yes,
I
I
do.
did. He doesn't know how to,
Yes, I do.
He doesn't know how to not go hard.
Yes.
That's the thing. He
That's
doesn't know how to not
exactly
go
right.
hard. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I also, absolutely love the polygraph montage sequence, which is just
so good,
excellent. And I want to rewatch.
And they
this
pay it
movie.
off. Yeah.
Well, I want to rewatch this movie because 90% of the questions he's asking don't matter at all. There's just one question for each person that actually matters. And I know for the psychiatrist, Naomi Harris, it was how many sexual partners have you had? Like that was the important thing, that it was 2, right? Yep. But I don't know what the one question is for the other character. Like
Regé-Jean Page, have you killed anybody outside of war?
Yeah. And then
like whoever killed the source.
For the woman, it was her
like the guy.
Religious beliefs too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But what is great about that sequence is it's using the polygraph to define character, right? Like, the ways in which they answer the question is like telling you about who that character is. We're like freaking 80 minutes into a 90-minute movie at that point, and they're still like kind of helping to show you who these people are.
That's the climax of the movie,
right?
That is where he puts all the pieces together.
That's that's the shootout in the streets, except it's just people being asked questions on a polygraph. Just so good,
And also like him knowing, like, you're trying to cheat this test. Marissa Bella's character, he's like, release your anal sphincter.
So good.
Straight face.
Yes, I am. But the other great line I love is when everything's ramping up. The movie's bookended by dinner parties, which is so freaking rad. But the other great line is when things are ramping up, she's like, "There's a new carpet. Why is there a new carpet?"
Right.
And it's just so great because you're like, she knew that she's going to shoot someone in the head, snap the car, and shoot him in the head, and it doesn't want to mess up her good carpet with it. It's just so great.
Yeah. It's a perfect stuff.
It's good stuff.
The scene where Cate Blanchett's character meets with Pierce Brosnan at the sushi restaurant, and he's about to dig into a moving fish. It is sushi prepared on a moving, suffering
which is
fish.
illegal, I think, is what the
I think a lot of countries actually is illegal, and she points out, and he's like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. Like that tells you a lot about him too at this point. Oh man. When he gets so heated in the briefing when they detect the satellite movement, he's like, should have done it. Should have just deployed Severus. Would have been great, huh?
Yeah.
He kind of reveals himself there. And Michael Fassbender's character, who's been so cool and calm.
Yeah.
Anybody looking at these 3 guys at the table would be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you sweating right now? You have no poker face.
He's a little bit over the top in that scene, but it's the only scene in the whole movie where he basically loses his composure.
Well, but what I like about it is, what's going through his head is, I hate liars, and now I'm in a position where I have to lie.
Also, he got played. He knows he got played.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, oh, somebody outsmarted me.
Right.
Like, so there's 2 things happening at this point. Yeah.
I have to say it's a smart script. It doesn't explain everything to you. Like you need to really be working hard at it, and I really appreciate that.
Well, it's got that David Mamet, like, it doesn't matter what the Spanish prisoner is thing. It's like that's not the important. It doesn't matter what Cerberus is. We find out ish, but it's like it doesn't matter. It's the people matter, and their relationships to each other matter. All this grander spy game stuff is just the backdrop upon which this interpersonal dynamic drama is played out. And I think that's what is smart about it, is that it's like, you don't have to keep up. That's not what's important here. And I like that. I really
it's not even that complicated too. Like, it's not like a Mission Impossible plot. It's just like Severus, bad thing. A lot of people could die because of it. It blows up nuclear reactors.
Mission Impossible, it does, like, Mission Impossible is about that.
Yes.
Right? That's what the movie is about. This movie is like, no, that's incidental to what we're really here talking about, which is who done it.
It depends. It depends on the Mission Impossible movie. Like, I think Ghost Protocol, even 3, where they're like, oh, we got to find the rabbit's foot. Clearly a MacGuffin, and even that is like a character piece about who these people are. So even those movies do it, but I feel like this is just so. It's like such a basic thing. Here, bad tech can blow up nuclear reactors, and it reveals so much about these characters.
Yeah,
And specifically the religious one too, like Naomi Harris's character. That is actually a really interesting version of somebody who would subvert their government, or who would like try to stop something. And that I have not seen that done too much in spy films. Yeah.
Not the Severus stuff that is confusing. It's more like the idea of him, like they both were, like the realization that they both were played and how that comes out. That's what I'm referring to.
Details.
Yes.
Yeah,
the details of how they both were played, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little like the movie doesn't spell that out for you, but if you're paying attention, you get it. So
I did like the end, the total Poirot parlor moment where it's like this person did it and this person did, and then it turned to Marissa Abuela. It's like you had nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
You're beautiful.
Complete
You're
red herring.
We literally didn't need to invite you to this at all. Actually,
just like, so great.
But my favorite, one of my favorite lines from Futurama is Dr. Zoidberg saying, "I've gathered you all into the accusing parlor while I slowly solve the crime."
Yes.
And that's basically exactly what happens at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
So,
so great.
Very enjoyable. Anyway, great movie.
Great movie.
We all loved
great
it.
cap end too. Like two is just like, what about that money? Huh?
Yeah, that was so
Still
great.
there.
I also, put this in your back pocket in case you ever need it. If you're ever in a situation where someone else slides a gun on the table, don't
be the one.
ever think that you could just pick that up and use it, right?
Yes.
Why would you ever think, they've provided me a weapon to you turn on them? That never works. It's never
works.
It's
obvious.
There's a line in GoldenEye, right? Which also stars Pierce Brosnan, where spoilers for GoldenEye, but in GoldenEye, 007 confronts 006, right? Yeah. And 006 is originally 007's partner, but then it turns out 006 is behind the horrible thing that happens. So eventually they confront each other again, and 007, like Pierce Brosnan has a gun and he's holding it up to 006, and 006 says to him, James Bond, like, put the gun down. It's insulting to think that you think I haven't considered your every possible move at this point.
It's true.
Yeah.
Which I think is like basically what the character at the end, his fatal flaw, right? He's like,
he's
really?
Too cocky.
You think the people who gathered you into the accusing parlor haven't thought that you might do this?
And slid the gun into the center of the table? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the game is "Don't pick up the gun," right? Or who picks up the gun is guilty.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
I usually just play, I don't know, categories.
Yeah. Just play
You don't need a new reg for that, Jeff.
I'm more of a shoots and ladders kind of guy, You don't need to. Yeah. Anyway. All right. At the end of the day, it is really impressive that Steven Soderbergh made a movie. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.